They waved at everyone, but no one ever waved back. Until the night one quiet act changed a whole block forever. No one on Maple Grove really noticed the old blue house at the end of the street. They passed it every day. Engines humming, playlists loud, lives louder. The porch light that flicked on at the same time every evening. The curtains that barely moved. The man who lived there polite, distant, and somehow always unseen. His name was Ethan Cole. Seems nice, someone once said, like they were guessing the weather. Others didn't say anything. They just assumed he liked being alone. Assumed silence meant cold. Assumed quiet meant strange. Across the street lived Sarah Miller, a single mom running on caffeine and hope. Her 7-year-old son, Noah, was the loudest thing on the block, laughing too hard, running too fast, living like the world was still safe. Sarah worked late shifts at the hospital and came home drained, keys in one hand, phone in the other. Brain still buzzing with alarms that weren't there anymore. She waved to her neighbors because that's what decent people did. She waved to Ethan too. Same gentle nod, every single time. No cookouts, no hey, where are you from? He didn't complain. He didn't push. He just lived his life inside the quiet he'd chosen. What Maple Grove didn't know was that Ethan noticed everything. He noticed which lights stayed on too late, which cars came home after midnight, which kids rode bikes without helmets. He noticed Sarah's porch light flicker when storms rolled in. He noticed Noah sitting on the steps some evenings, swinging his legs. Waiting for his mom like waiting was a skill he'd learned early. Ethan noticed loneliness because he carried it like a shadow. Before Maple Grove, before the quiet, he'd been a paramedic in Chicago. Sirens, chaos, the constant rush of being needed. He'd seen lives begin and end in the same minute. One night, one call changed everything. A fire, a child. A decision that followed him long after the noise stopped. So he chose a place where nothing demanded him. A street that didn't ask questions. A life where he could be helpful without being seen. One fall evening, the neighborhood moved at its usual low volume. Dogs barked. TVs murmured through open windows. A few grills smoked in backyards. Sarah pulled into her driveway late, exhausted after a double shift that felt like it lasted a week. Her phone rang as she unlocked the door. "Noah, stay inside," she said, distracted, already answering the call. Kids don't always listen, especially not when there's laughter down the street and the faint jingle of an ice cream truck fading away. Noah slipped back outside barefoot, chasing a sound that felt like summer even though the air had turned cool. The street was darker than usual. Brief power hiccup knocked out a few streetlights. Cars still passed. Too fast. Always too fast. Ethan was watering his small garden when he saw Noah step off the curb. He saw the car before Noah did. Headlights off for just a second too long. Speed wrong for a quiet street. Ethan didn't yell, didn't freeze, didn't think. The years fell away. Muscle memory kicked in, sharp and certain. He crossed the street in seconds, grabbed Noah by the back of his hoodie, and yanked him back just as the car blasted past, close enough to steal the air from their lungs. Noah hit Ethan's chest, shaking, breath gone, eyes wide and confused. Ethan dropped to one knee immediately, hand steady, voice calm. "You hurt," he asked softly, already checking arms and legs, already counting breaths. Noah shook his head, tears sliding down without a sound. Ethan walked him home. No lecture. He rang Sarah's doorbell once and waited. When Sarah opened the door and saw Noah clinging to a man she barely knew, her face drained of color. "Oh my God," she whispered, pulling her son close. "What happened?" Ethan explained it simply. No drama, no hero talk. He wandered toward the road. "I brought him back." That was it. Sarah stopped him, voice shaking. "Wait, thank you." Ethan smiled. The same small smile he always had. He's a good kid. The next morning, Maple Grove felt different. The story moved quietly at first, like it respected the way it happened. That guy at the end of the street pulled him right back before a car hit him. No yelling, no sirens, just did it. People started noticing things they'd ignored for years. How Ethan shoveled snow from sidewalks that weren't his. How he fixed Mrs. Thompson's fence without being asked. How he always waved, even when no one waved back. Sarah baked cookies that afternoon, nervous like she was doing something bigger than it looked. She walked across the street with Noah at her side and knocked on Ethan's door. "I didn't even know your name," she admitted when he answered. "Ethan," he said. "It's nice to meet you properly." They talked on the porch that evening, about work, about nothing, about the way the street used to feel and how it felt now. Noah sat on the steps close to Ethan, drawing circles on the concrete, safe in the way kids understand without explanation. A chair appeared. A neighbor stopped to say hi. Someone brought lemonade. No big moment. Ethan didn't change. He didn't get louder, didn't tell his story unless someone asked, didn't ask for attention. Maple Grove learned something it should have known all along. Quiet doesn't mean empty. And the people everyone ignores are sometimes the ones watching closest. Now, when evening falls, the blue house at the end of the street isn't invisible anymore. The porch light still comes on at dusk. The curtains still move just a little. And Ethan always waves back. Sometimes the hero isn't the loudest voice on the block, just the one who shows up when it matters most.